It is time. Yo, welcome to week 3 of the Sammie and Slim show. I had to do the intro. Yes, sir.
What's good,
Welcome
everybody?
to motherfucking Detroit.
Week 3.
All right. Let's get that out of the way and get to something serious. My name's Slim. That's
I'm Sammie.
Sammie. Welcome to the Sammie and Slim show. It's week 3. I wish I could be coming with you or coming at you guys with some better news. I know Sam wishes that too, even though he predicted this crap.
Yes.
But yeah, our Lions, they fell short. Didn't really perform like they did against LA. Saw a lot of mistakes here and there. Too many small mistakes that just added up and kind of spilled and spiraled out of control. And we suffered. And the Bucs capitalized. What do you got, Sam? What are your thoughts initially before we dive deep into it?
Just like I said, with my prediction, I knew Baker Mayfield had some bad blood coming into this game.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he wanted this win badly in the end of the game, I feel like, earlier in the season. So I knew he was going to come in with a different type of mindset. And now it's like, I hate to say I was right because I didn't want to be right. But, yeah, Tampa Bay with the dub.
Right, exactly. And that was a good game. We knew going into it, though, that wasn't going to be no cakewalk or anything easy. Like, Tampa Bay is going to be tough. And in my opinion, we made our predictions, at the beginning of the season before the LA game and whatnot. And we said what we said. But right now, I think it's an okay thing to say if it keeps playing out this way that, Tampa Bay is going to make a run
for sure,
deep in the playoffs possibly. And possibly if the Lions go that far, which I still think they do. I mean, one game is one game. It's one loss was one loss. They'll learn from it. They'll bounce from it. And it's still early in the season. And any team I've coached, basketball, soccer, you name it, I'd rather have the mistakes happen early in the season than when it matters the most towards the end. So I'd rather, as much as this loss sucks, I'd rather get the mistakes out, iron out the kinks early, and then, get after it and get nasty when the timing means more,
For sure. Definitely.
But yeah, we knew it wasn't going to be easy. And it showed, but like I said, I think Tampa Bay can make a run. And
for sure,
if Detroit, still plays out and predictions are right, and Detroit makes it back to the NFC Championship game, I can see Tampa Bay being there, waiting for it.
Oh, no question, definitely. I mean that Tampa Bay team is solid, like all around, offense and defensively. I mean, like even
they
with
were hurt too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even with the depleted secondary and also, like, hurt guys during the game, like Vita Vio, one of their star defensive linemen, he got hurt during the game, and they still held the front rut, throughout the whole game. So I easily can see Tampa Bay getting an easy, playoff run, easily deep playoff run, with that team. So,
and I can still see San Francisco, but I mean, they didn't play all that great yesterday either. So, I mean, honestly, with kind of how these first 2 weeks, I should say, these first 2 weeks have kind of played out.
Right.
The NFC are really just the freaking league in general. It's anyone's game right now. Everything's up to grabs. The teams that we thought would, be kind of showing out and winning these first couple games have it. Some are still 0-2, like the Ravens, which is nuts.
Which is crazy.
You got all these different freaking injuries and stuff like that, which we'll get into that with who our week 3 opponent is, which kind of has me a little shook after week
2. Yeah, because I think we're on the same page with week 1. you know, we didn't hear too much about this specific guy from, you know, that other college we don't want to talk about. But week 2, he showed out. He showed
Mm-hmm.
the heck out, and it's just, I don't know. It's gonna be scary. It's definitely gonna be scary this week 3.
It'll
Playing
definitely
against them.
be more.
A
It
different challenge.
definitely makes me feel a little more nervous and stuff like that. But yeah, that team from hell. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah, there
I
you
can't say
go.
that full name. It's the
Yeah.
middle of football season. I cannot say that full name.
No, sir. No, sir. Can't put that.
Crybabies.
All right.
Um, my favorite meme before we get into it, just because we're talking about it, my favorite meme ever going into that week is posting a picture of Richard Simmons saying, and the caption saying he is their newest strength and conditioning coach. And the reason why it's funny is just because Richard Simmons is gay, and is,
Yeah,
this gym trainer and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great, he knows his stuff and everything like that. But you
Right.
can tell he was a little on the flamboyant side, and I just
Well,
thought that was
yeah,
funny. But that's for another story, another time.
that's another
But
day, another day. We're not
but
trying to get canceled. Not trying to get canceled on this
no,
show.
no, 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 no,
No, no,
no.
no, no, no. We're not trying to get.
Rest in peace, Richard Simmons.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, man. R.I.P.
Rest in
But we just
peace.
keep it
Um,
PG.
but respectfully, we hate Ohio State. So
Yes, yeah, no question.
no ifs, ands, buts.
All right.
Which I didn't say this to Sam or anything, but I kind of want to talk a little Michigan at the end, with
Okay, I'm cool with
what's
that.
happened the first couple weeks, and with the news that came out today, about the starting quarterback situation, which
I have a lot to talk about that. I have a
oh
lot to
yes.
discuss on that topic.
But
But yes,
first things
let's
first,
keep it Detroit Lions football.
exactly.
That's
First
what we're
things
here
first,
for.
this is a Lions podcast.
Yes.
Um, Let me move some things around, a little rearranging
Okay.
here on my computer screen, just so I can see week 2 recap against
Yes.
the Bucks. My
Yes, sir.
first biggest take or thing that jumped out is the mistakes. We had
Yes.
we made too many mistakes, too many small things that kind of just built up and just festered and spiraled out of control. And another thing, just that kind of goes off of that really bugs me is the penalties. There are too many just stupid penalties, regardless if the refs missed a couple big blatant ones, which you and I were texting yesterday. The refs missed
Yeah,
some
throughout the
bad
game.
ones
Yes.
in the
Yeah,
first game.
in not to cut you short, Slim, but yes, the first possession that we had of the game, and J Mo ran a slant, and he obviously physically got grabbed coming
Oh
off the
yeah.
slant. That completely threw off my whole mental because I'm like, okay, so you call it pass interference on Terry Arnold, like
Fucking
close towards the, which wasn't even. Both of them were, a little handsy, which is okay. Both were a little handsy, but just calling that and then not calling the one, which is blatantly a pass interference, right in front of the first official's eye, and he didn't call it, you know. But again, like you say, referees make mistakes, so that's part of the
mm-hmm.
game. But at the same time, it's like it was just blatant. Come off the screen, he just gets
Yeah,
grabbed
no,
from his route.
that
And
bugs
and,
me.
and if he went to that spot, he would have caught the ball
Mm-hmm.
regardless, or it would have been a contest. Either way, he would have been there. Not physically, just him get grabbed and not call nothing.
Right,
But
100%.
go ahead.
No,
Yeah, for
it
sure.
what bugs me, just like I get it. Okay, Terry and Arnold was handsy, and the teams have been, the Rams exploited it, the Bucks exploited it. So I mean, props
Yeah.
to them. They're playing ball and they're doing their, due diligence, and watching film or stealing signs if you're the NCAA. Um, but
I don't think we're ever gonna get that title down.
no, we're
I,
not.
I think they're gonna always put it out their back pocket whenever they feel
Oh
like
yeah,
they Yeah, always.
But
This is
but
annoying.
no, like what you're saying, just Terry Arnold's just young. He's got
Yeah,
to
yeah,
mature a little bit. So I mean,
for sure.
I'm not
Growing
upset
pains.
with him. The dude is still a dog and still plays good.
Yeah,
Heck, good defense. He's just got to limit those mental mistakes. That's really all it is. But that
yeah.
play right there, like the one that they called on him this week,
Which is,
last week, I
which
get.
is, yes. Oh no, yeah, week one for sure. He was handsy as hell. I'm gonna be honest with you. He was very handsy, all over the ball. But
Mm-hmm,
we get it. It's growing pains. We get that coming from a corner.
mm-hmm.
But you know that when he called the first possession where Baker had, it's just like it was just both receivers. They're just hands with each other.
And
It was a
that's
physical.
something that like I ref high school soccer, which is obviously it's a different sport, but
Hmm.
there's some similarities and stuff. It's a contact sport. It's gonna
For
get
sure,
physical.
all day.
Regardless if you're playing a rival or not, it's always a physical sport. And
Hmm.
something that I try to keep in the back of my mind as an official when I'm in the middle of a game is guys are gonna go shoulder to shoulder trying to play at
Yeah,
the ball.
for sure.
Regardless if you're on offense or defense, doesn't matter. You're always going to be shoulder to shoulder playing at the ball. You're trying to break free, get on a breakaway, stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I'm not going to sit there as an official and call everything just because two guys just happen to bump shoulders or two
Right,
girls bump shoulders because I ref both guys and girls, soccer
right.
in high school
Hmm.
in Michigan. But I'm not just going to sit there and call everything just because they're getting too handsy or they're getting too physical. Like I like seeing that. And
Right.
for me, if I see that, but I'm not seeing the kid on offense gaining an advantage from the physicality, or the kid on defense from gaining an advantage of the physicality they're bringing, and taking the offensive person off their attack, I'm letting them play.
Uh, and I respect that.
I
Yeah, for sure.
appreciate that physicality part as an official. So what that really blew me away that they both were being handsy. It wasn't
Hmm.
just one, it was
And the
both.
one just Terry on
And
both.
what
Yes.
really threw me off is that last week Terry and Arnold was not looking at the ball, straight looking at the player. This week, looking right at the ball, dead
Oh, for
in the
sure.
face,
Definitely.
and you still call the PI.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. And then the whole JMO thing where, he blatantly gets taken off of his route, should have been a PI, gets pushed from behind, and
Hmm.
then afterwards when the interception happened, he's
Yeah.
trying to touch the guy to make him down, and he gets pushed again.
Yes.
That should have been unsportsmanlike in
It's
my
it's
opinion.
it's
I
it's
don't care.
just it's just it was just a lot of choppy calls this game.
Hmm.
There was some calls that should have been called. There were some calls that shouldn't have been called. But overall, man, I don't like to blame referees for losses.
Hmm.
I don't. And that's not even you know, that's not my standard. I don't always go to,
Right.
oh, the ref did this, the ref called this. That's why we lost. No, the reason why we lost this game is because we got outplayed.
Oh, 100%.
They for sure played harder than us. They wanted this game more than us for sure. But overall, I'm not the type to call out refs, but there were some calls that were fishy. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
That's all
no.
I'm saying.
I'm
That's all
I'm
I'm saying.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm definitely the same way. I don't want to sit here and blame the whole game and the reason why we
Yeah.
lost yesterday on the refs because
Mhm.
that's far from it.
Right.
Regardless how you feel about the calls, right, wrong, good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. Like we shot ourselves in the foot. We lost that game. We
Right.
didn't come out to play, and I agreed. Tampa Bay wanted more. They were more hungry, like
Hmm.
you had predicted, which is that really
Hungry.
bugs me. But hey, that's whatever. But no,
I'm a
but
realist. I'm a realist
right.
when it comes to football
Um,
and sports. I'm a realist. I know when teams want it, and I know for a fact with Baker Mayfield and his history of him being that chippy type of guy, that guy who wants to prove people wrong. This is the game that he wanted
oh yeah.
badly, especially from losing last year in the playoffs. So
And no, he deserves anything and everything. If he keeps playing the way he is, you know, he deserves any award, comeback player, whatever that ends up being. I don't care. And
Sure.
again, though, like we had said last week, I don't care if you disagree, Jashawn, or anybody else. My take still remains the same, as in Baker is in the right position and doing what he's doing because of what is surrounding him, coaching, his teammates, the
For sure. Oh yeah, yeah,
organization.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure with Baker. Yeah,
Um,
Baker's situation, yes.
but so yeah, limit the mistakes.
Right.
Um,
Yes.
we have to continue to put pressure on the QB. Now, we got pressure against the QB.
Oh yeah.
Obviously,
Well, let's talk about that boy.
this is my big X Factor take. This is the only reason why the Lions were even close in
Uh huh.
that game yesterday,
Uh
in
huh.
my opinion.
Uh huh.
Hutch going off for 5 sacks, 3 in the first quarter alone. All right. But, and again, like I said, he kept us in that game. He made it close, but
Yes, he
it can't
definitely did.
just be him.
And I agree. And I also believe that, with the addition of DJ Redder and Davenport coming back soon, hopefully coming back soon, I feel like that's
We
going to be a
need him
huge
this
help
week.
with Hutch and especially this week because you know how our history is with running quarterbacks. And just like we seen with Baker this week,
I'm just
him
about
running
to
the
bring that
ball,
up too.
torching us on the ground when we least expect it. We have to have an answer for Kyler because
Mm-hmm.
he is way more mobile than Baker. He can move, he can get out of tough situations. So we have to get to him. There is no, you know,
Mm-hmm.
debate about that. So
So I recorded this little soundbite on my soundboard, and I gotta play it. We were texting back and forth and made a joke about it. Now this was about Michigan and how we feel about Davis Warren, who is hot dog water in his own right. But um, but have you ever seen the movie Happy Gilmore?
I have not, no.
Oh,
Yeah, so
if I were you,
part of the joke will go in my head, yeah.
if I were you, I would watch it. You and your wife are gonna find it freaking hilarious. They're making a second one too. It was made in '96, so it's a little older, but it's funny. Um, Basically, there's a part in this movie, without getting too much detail,
Okay.
where they did a golf pro am with Adam Sandler's character and Bob Barker, who is the old host on The Price Is Right.
Okay.
Basically, this soundbite is, Bob Barker with Adam Sandler's character, and Bob Barker, what you're about to hear, imagine Baker Mayfield, not Bob Barker's voice, but imagine Baker Mayfield and what Baker just did to the Lions yesterday.
Okay.
Nope, the wrong one.
Oh, that's
Imagine
theme song.
this. Imagine Baker saying this, not Bob Barker.
I think you've had enough. No? Now you've had enough. Big.
Oh, he had that. He had in that. Okay.
Sorry for the swear
Okay.
word,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that part that makes sense. Baker Mayfield
no.
made the Lions his, you know what,
You know
yesterday.
what? Yes, yeah, and it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't even a debate with the Baker.
But
He was obviously the best quarterback on the field.
oh,
So
100%.
yeah.
And
So
yeah, go
yeah. So
ahead.
speaking of quarterback, yeah. So speaking of quarterback, so I was on Twitter the other day,
Hmm.
right after the loss, and you know people are concerned about his performance, about Goff's performance, right? Um, and people are blaming Goff for pretty much the whole game, right? So I have a question for you, Slim, because I just wanted to hear your side of the opinion.
Okay.
Um, do you think the reason we lost was because of Goff or was because of Ben Johnson? Like, do you think the play calling was bad in certain situations, or do you just think that Goff just crapped the bread, pissed on his leg? Because he had a lot of bad because he threw the ball 54 times Sunday,
Yes, he did.
54 times. So he had which is kind of respectable. He had 307 yards. you know. But he had two crucial picks. Obviously, the first one was a pass interference, but they didn't call it. But the second one was like, where the hell are you throwing it to? Like, what's happening here? But, you know, do you think that the game was Jared Goff's fault? Or do you think that it was, you know, a combination of both, or just Ben Johnson's play calling? Because I remember on I think it was 3rd and 12. It was the last mission of the drive. We had the game winning drive, and then he called a screen play for Jameer Gibbs, and that went nowhere. He threw the screen pass. He got maybe like 1 yard. So I'm not sure. It's like what do you think was the main issue throughout the whole game, and
Right,
also the
right.
last drive?
Um,
Was it golf or Ben Johnson? What you think?
I don't think it was just Goff or just Ben Johnson. I
Okay.
think really just other than, I mean, offensively, I mean, Gibbs still played all right. Amon Ra played all right. Which I hope he
All right.
feels better. Thank God.
Yes. Yes. Hope he's good because
Um,
he had a couple injuries where he kept touching his ankle and
I think
field.
everybody pretty much underperformed. I don't think it was one person's specific fault. I
Okay.
don't think what Goff did helped. I don't think what Ben Johnson did helped. Because really, like, there's a couple notes I had. Like, Goff needs to make better decisions. The clock
Yes.
management was piss poor yesterday, so that falls on Dan Campbell. Which,
Man.
to kind of go off on, not trying to go off on like a tangent here, but Campbell was in the press conference yesterday after the game with the media, putting all the blame on him. He shouldn't have done that, but I get why he did that, and to me, that shows its signs of a very true and gifted leader. For
Yeah.
him doing that and stepping
Yeah.
out in the way he did, when
Yeah.
he didn't have to, you know,
Right.
it's the captain of a ship or the coach, stuff like that, right? Like
Right.
you always, attitude reflects leadership. So his attitude, his management was poor, and it showed. It reflected to his team if you think about it that way.
Right.
But it wasn't just him.
For sure.
Everybody made small, like I said earlier or in the beginning, like everyone made too many small mistakes that just
Yes.
festered and built up to the point where it just got out of control. And, look what happened. We ended up losing the game.
Right.
So it wasn't just Goff. It wasn't just Ben Johnson. Now, Goff does need to make better decisions.
Hmm.
So there's that. His timing needs to be more calm in the pocket, stuff like that. Because especially since he's not really that mobile of a quarterback, he's got to be more calm, cool, collected in that pocket, right? But like you're
Sure.
saying with Ben Johnson, though, too, like especially when we're on game-winning drives, when it matters most, it's crunch time. Under 2 minutes, doing that 2 minute drill
Hmm.
instead of doing, excuse me, instead of taking like the short passes in the flats and just nickel and diming everything. If you're trying to make a game winning drive, push the field, make them guess, keep them on their toes, you've got to just take chances downfield and throw deep.
Sure.
Or even like in the second tier of the field, like the second third, I guess, if that makes
Right.
sense. If you divide the football field up into thirds, you want to, or divide the field into thirds from where the line of scrimmage is, instead
Right.
of just throwing into the flats the entire time looking for those short routes like the meshes, the curls, bench, the out routes, stuff like that. You've got to take chances downfield, more post routes, some seams, fades, stuff like that.
Right.
Corner
And you
routes
have
for all I care.
the guy to do it in
You have the
JMO.
guys to do it now. Not
Guys, yeah,
just
guys. Now that's just a guy. You're right. You exactly right. We have the guys to do it. So
so we
definitely.
can't be scared and nervous just because excuse me. So this week especially, and we'll get
Yeah.
into it, but we've got to take more chances downfield.
Yes. No. No.
Especially if we're
No
in that
question.
situation again, we've got to take more chances downfield. If
No
we
question.
if we mess up, we're unsuccessful. okay, sucks, but we're taking those chances. We're trying to give ourselves a chance to, win the game at the end
Right.
instead of the nickel and dime crap to set those passes up.
Yes, I agree.
Um, but kind of piggyback off of that though too. Another part of where Ben Johnson kind of fell short. Got to keep him guessing. Didn't really do that yesterday because everything was defended well.
Everything was
We didn't really stick. I feel like we didn't really stick to a specific game plan.
Yeah.
Or continue to run the ball, pound it hard up the middle like we did week 1 against the Rams. We didn't stick to a pass.
Right.
Like we.
And I agree with that too. Like also like, and you see players going out like Vito Veto,
Mhm.
and he came out third quarter. He was injured. He was out for pretty much the rest of the game.
Mhm.
That's the time when you have to run the ball. That's the time when you have to pound the ball and they throw, especially when their best player on defensive line is out. You have to understand who's in, who's out. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I could see from early that the Detroit Lions wanted to pass the ball deep or, have longer throws because their secondary was pretty much depleted. So we were throwing the ball almost every play, hence why Golf threw the ball 54 times. So I understand, us, throwing the ball and understanding the defense. But when things happen throughout the game and when injuries happen, and you see guys coming off the field, you have to adapt and understand. Like, okay, we know this guy's out now. We have two of the best running backs in the league. And David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's pound the ball. Let's run the ball some more. Let's run up their gut. And then that opens up the passing game, the play action game. So it's just not only just the fact that we understand like what we had to do in the beginning, to win, we have to adjust throughout the game as well.
Mhm.
And I feel like we did a horrible job of doing that.
And Tampa Bay, I think it's I forget what their coach's name is, but they made those they made the right halftime adjustments. They
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
definitely
prepped.
But
Locked
like,
in.
no, you're not wrong. We have one of the best, if not best, running back duos in the league by far. Name one other or two other running backs that have a quicker first step than Jahmyr Gibbs right now.
You can't.
Exactly. Maybe
You can't.
that's why I said maybe one or two.
Right.
Maybe, but like, because you really can't. Like, maybe if he's healthy, and I'm going out on a stretch here, and you're gonna hate me for saying this, but maybe a healthy J.K. Dobbins, quick first step. But
I don't hate that take. That is not a bad take at all.
But I only say that because of where he went to school. And it's funny because
Right.
coaching him now.
Yeah. Big hardball. But
Jimbo. But
yeah,
no,
big
like,
Jimbo, but yeah.
other than maybe J.K. Dobbins, who has a quicker first step than Jahmyr Gibbs?
I don't. Possibly Bijan. Possibly.
I would take Bijan.
Possibly Bijan.
Would you think maybe a healthy Isaiah Pacheco?
Healthy, yes, for sure. Possibly Christian McCaffrey, but like
Okay.
but like we're talking about first, just specifically first step. I don't think anyone has a quicker first step than Jahmyr Gibbs.
But here's the thing, though, too,
in my
on
opinion.
Christian McCaffrey. I'm not disagreeing with that, but he's
Right.
also getting up there in age now too. We got to
For
think
sure. Yeah,
McCaffrey's
you're right.
been in the league for a hot minute now,
Yeah,
which
definitely.
is crazy to think.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
he's losing, some of
He
that
the same.
punch, yeah.
Yeah, the same.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, let's look ahead to next week. Let's get this over with because
Get the same.
we talked about it before. Let me adjust the screen here again. Oh God, it threw me off when I saw that score. I'm thinking, okay, let's look at the score. Let's kind of talk about it, and then I see they beat the freaking Rams, who we just played the week before, 41-10.
Beat the brakes off them boys.
But you have to think though too. Look who was injured on the Rams offense. That you just took away, or you lost a lot of your offense in Cooper Kupp.
Well, damn, pretty much all your offense at Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua. I mean,
Because like,
just being
did
real.
Kyron Williams really do anything? No.
No. So, I mean, just um just seeing the highlights because I didn't watch the whole game obviously because I was watching
Yeah.
the Lions game, but just seeing the highlights, man, of that game, it just seemed like the Rams were just done. Like they didn't have any hope. They didn't care. They knew the game was over as soon as they seen Marvin Harrison good getting off with Kyler. Um,
I hate
I
that
just yeah, and yes, and Harrison, we all know where he's from too. But at the same time, yeah, at the same time, going into next week, right? Because we obviously know that probably Carry On is going to be on Marvin for his man-to-man coverages. The biggest thing we need to focus on, man, next week against Arizona is just shutting that down and containing Kyler. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say off the rip getting to Kyler, like, trying to sack him and get him down, just containing him because we know he can run. We know he can get around. We know he can move. So we need to make sure we contain him in the pocket, make sure he feels flustered, make sure we throw him off his rhythm, or otherwise it can be a long day, just like we seen them against the Rams. So
one.
we go see.
I'm gonna see if I can get this to work because I have my phone hooked up to Bluetooth on this board. So call me DJ if you want, but oh, please tell me this works. Oh, you jerk!
It's not working.
I hope no. I'm trying to play the victors for our friend Marvin Harrison,
Marvin,
but
good old Marvin.
that's neither either here or there.
But yeah, but honestly, I want to give his flowers for last week's game or this last Sunday's
mm-hmm.
game. He balled out. Kyler and him balled out, and you know,
I know why it didn't work.
why didn't it work?
Keep talking, because my thing's loading.
Okay, but no, yeah, I want to give a shout out to Harrison for cooking last week, but you know, that's our main person we need to focus on next week. It's just Marvin Harrison and this Kyler Dillon. That's pretty much it. I feel like. Other than that, I think we'll be fine. Personally,
Mm-hmm.
but
I think so too, but for our buddy Marvin, I love
love that.
this soundboard, man.
Love that.
My
Love
gosh.
that. Love that. I'm glad you got that with us now because this is definitely gonna be more smooth, especially when we start talking about Ohio States and Michigans and
Oh
all
my
that stuff.
gosh.
It's gonna be so much.
Um.
It's gonna be so much more funnier. But
Oh yeah.
yeah,
But no, going off what you said, like, and you kind of shared this earlier too. Like, the first 2 weeks,
yeah,
Matt Stafford,
yeah,
he's getting past his prime. He's still there. He's still got some juice left, but he's starting to get past his prime.
for sure.
Last week or yesterday, we faced Baker Mayfield, who just he showed signs, hints here and there of this.
Hmm.
But again, right situation. He's in the right team. He's got everything. Oh, he's got the pieces to the puzzle around him to where
Sure,
he is able to go off and perform the way he is.
for sure.
So he could be considered very mobile. But this week, if you think or Baker Mayfield was mobile, we're about to see one of the most mobile quarterbacks to an extent in the league. I get in Kyler Murray this next week.
Yes,
Right.
because and he can move. He can move, and people don't
He's
realize that.
just his stature is small, but
Yeah.
he's got a quick first step for a quarterback. We're talking about Jameer Gibbs and
Hmm.
J.K. Dobbins, Bijan Robinson with all these quick first steps. But dear God, like I'm looking at I've got the stats pulled up.
Okay.
He had 5 carries for 59 yards. As a
Hmm.
quarterback, that's not bad.
At all.
If you start reaching like the 60, 70 yard range, For the game as a quarterback, that's really not bad. His average was 11.8. His longest run was 26 yards
Yeah,
to James
crazy.
Conner's 22.
That's crazy.
But it's not just Kyler Murray. James Conner, dear God, he had himself a
Yeah.
game when he needed to the most. 21 carries,
yeah,
122 yards.
I always forget about James Conner because I feel like it's just so much emphasis on Kyler Murray for the Cardinals. I always
Mhm.
forget about him and how good he can be when he's healthy. A healthy James Conner is a problem. I always forget
And that's something that hurt him in Pittsburgh, in my opinion. He could have been a stud more
about. Oh
than
yeah,
he
for sure,
was.
for
But
sure.
again, he just couldn't stay healthy.
That's the same thing.
Um, but yeah, not just Kyler Murray, not just James Conner, with like the run game stuff like that. As far as passing goes, Kyler Murray only threw for 21 or threw 21 times, completed 17 of them for 266 yards,
That's
mind you.
crazy work. Crazy
And out
work.
of those 17 catches, 3 touchdowns,
It's crazy.
right? 3 touchdowns for a quarterback rating of 158.3. Hold on 1 second. I'm dumb. Let me text my wife quick because I'll tell you in a second. We're trying to find. We've been trying to find our one dog that we have who's deaf. And I forgot before you had came on that I put her on the bed that's behind me, and she is passed out.
That's funny. Tied. Done for. But no, yeah, that boy Kyler, man. Kyler is he was cooking last week. He did his
Mm-hmm.
thing. And this Cardinals team is hungry. Like they're hungry. Like we
Very.
want it. They're very hungry, especially seeing against the game they played against LA. They're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to come in with that same mindset. And honestly, I truly still believe that we're gonna blow them out tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Sunday. Sorry, not tomorrow. But on
Right.
Sunday, I do believe we're still gonna blow them out. But I feel like the only way we're gonna blow them out if we come in hungry and determined to whoop that ass. And let me
Mm-hmm.
cuss again. But yeah, to come in dominant. You know what I'm saying? This is to come in dominant because I feel like, you know, uh, week one, we came in hungry in that overtime win. We were hungry for that last drive. We wanted that. Pound the ball down the middle. David Montgomery cooking. Week two came in lethargic. Came in not the same energy as week one. Week three, we have to set the tone right here. It's one of those games where we have to set the tone. So
Right.
that's how I feel about it personally.
Sorry. Just texted
Are
my
you
wife.
good?
I find it funny that we're trying to find the dog. She's on the bed. Oh, behind me.
That's funny.
Oops. But
I
no,
love
you're
that.
right.
Yeah.
The Arizona's coming out tough. It's if we come out with this win next week, if we are to win this game, we've got to come out more hungry. And to be honest, after losing the game in this kind of fashion, the way they did yesterday against Tampa Bay,
Uh-huh.
they were supposed to win that game. They should have won that game, but they didn't
For
because
sure.
they made too many mistakes. I think,
Yeah.
like you had said with Baker last year, in the divisional round, I think
Right.
Detroit comes in next week going into Arizona with
Mhm.
that big of a chip on their shoulder and
Mhm.
hungry are
Yep.
going to lay the wood thick
Big
on them
laid.
boys in Arizona.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout like I
Well,
thought it was at the beginning of the season. I think it's going to be, I can see it being within 1 or 2 scores.
okay.
I think we come out on top still,
Okay.
especially like I just said, because they're going to be that hungry and have that chip on their shoulder from losing in the manner that they did yesterday
Right.
against Tampa Bay, and they're going to have something to prove,
For sure.
But again, it's the biggest thing, like we were saying earlier. It's the simple, small mistakes. You can't
That's it.
get away with winning the game and making all those mistakes.
That's true.
Um,
That's true.
Another threat that we should probably talk about now before I puke and get sick to my stomach. If we think that Chris Godwin this past week torched us, if we thought Cooper Kupp torched us, this dude about to, if we don't defend the pass better, if we don't limit those mistakes, Marvin Harrison Jr. unfortunately is going to embarrass us this
Well,
week.
okay. Well, here's the thing with Marvin Harrison on my personal take
Okay?
with Marvin. Um, he's a tremendous player. Yes,
Very.
he is. He's a great player. He's a great athlete. All that good stuff. Whatever, right? But at the end of the day, like, who else does Arizona really have outside of Marvin Harrison when it comes to receivers? Because the first 2 weeks that we played, we had either first week one, we had Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, two guys. Puka Nacua got hurt early in the game, so it was Cooper Kupp, right? Week two, we had Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, two receiver guys. That's solid. When it
Mhm.
comes to Arizona, the only guy like on the receiving core we can really say like, oh, he's really great is Marvin Harrison. So I don't think that's going to be the biggest problem for us. I feel like in every game.
No.
I feel like the biggest issue we're going to have is just Kyler getting loose
Yep.
and active on the run game. That's the only issue I have. The only
Mhm.
issue I have is Kyler getting into his little play action, stops back a little bit, Hutch coming off the edge, jukes Hutch, jukes whoever defensive end we got, whoever, right? And
Right.
just getting loose. And just being able to control the game on his feet. That's the only issue I have. I don't have any other issue because I know for a fact we're gonna box up Marvin. We're gonna make sure we're gonna get a double team, zones, we're gonna make sure he's covered up. I don't have an issue with Marvin because regardless, he's going to get his stats regardless because he's that type of player. But the only issue I have is just Kyler getting on his feet because we always struggled against rushing quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Every year I've watched the Lions, we've struggled on quarterbacks who can run the ball. Geno Smith.
Don't started.
And I
While
can
you
go.
are ahead.
I can go days talking about this, but just watching Geno Smith, and he's not even half the quarterback he was 5-6 years
No.
ago, right? So him being able to be mobile at the age he was last year, or even
Mhm.
2 years ago at 30, imagine a Kyler Murray coming off an injury, feeling replenished and healthy. Now he has a chance to really move because, like I said, our history of struggling with people who can run.
Right.
It's going to be a problem. And that's the only thing I'm worried about. As long as Kyler doesn't get touchdowns off of his feet and just plainly off his arm, we'll just let him throw the ball, let him figure it out, arm wise, I feel like we'll be fine. Just don't let him run. That's what issue I have. Don't let him run the
I would include James Conner in that mix if he can stay healthy, right?
Correct. Yes.
But excuse me, you mentioned it's only Marvin Harrison as far as wide receivers go, which is true. I'm looking at their receiving stats,
Right.
but I don't think it's just him as far as receiving goes and airing the ball out that we have to worry about. In my opinion, I think Trey McBride, their tight end, is somebody that we also have to keep an eye on that can be a little bit sneaky and catch you.
Yes. Yes.
He
But
can
like
catch you in those short
when I say like
yards.
with Trey McBride, yeah, no, for sure. But with Trey McBride, I just think that he's not the elite level as Chris
No,
Godwin, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not
oh
on
no,
that elite level. But yes, he is sneaky. He'll get his yards. He'll get his catches. Cool. But I'm not worried about anybody but Marvin and Kyler, in my opinion. That's my two guys. I'm
mm-hmm.
just locked in, focused on for this game. So.
Oh, and I can agree, and we have to be able to counter that. And again, we have to come out hungry, and we got to be able to counter that with, not just Jameer. We got to get David Montgomery going. We got to get Amon-Ra and Jamo going. Even I would throw, Sam Laporta. Holy crap, we haven't really said much about him because he hasn't really done much these first 2 weeks. I think Sam Laporta could have that big game. We were saying JMO needed to be that X factor against the Rams, and he was.
Uh-huh.
I think this week, week 3, your X factor is gonna be Sam Laporta.
For sure, for sure. So, big question as we're talking about our offense of
Okay.
our offense and you know in general. Um, is JMO wide receiver one as of
Ooh.
right now for these past 2 weeks? Cause I'm okay. So as I look at the stats, Amron had more yards than JMO. He also
Mhm.
had more catches. But it seems like throughout the first half of the game, Goff was just strictly throwing to JMO. I'm not against that to late second half when the game count on the line,
Mhm.
but JMO is getting a lot of targets. Do you think Goff is
Rightfully so.
referring more to JMO, or do you think that it's just how the game's been played, where JMO has just been open, so he has to throw it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, do you
Mhm.
think he wants to throw it to him more, or is it just he's been open more? Where they've been willing to
I
take it?
I think
I'm on.
it's I think Amon-Ra's still number one. Easy.
Okay.
I think he's the surefire, wide receiver one. JMO's at number two.
Okay.
Now, if JMO continues to show out in the way he has, I can easily see that happening where JMO takes that one spot. But
Right.
right now, it's still St. Brown. JMO still got a lot to prove, even though he's been showing out.
Right.
I just think the last 2 weeks, especially, well, there's only been 2 weeks of the season, but I think these first 2 weeks, I should say it that way. I think it's just been, how the play is played out.
Right.
You have all these routes, different schemes, different, whatever you can think of, right? You have
Right.
all these different plays for certain situations for different guys in offense, defense. You can always say, like, as goofy as an analogy this is going to be, like when you play Madden or college football, right? You've got that one route that's in red, but that's like your expected hot route. Like that's the guy you're going to go to or should go
Right.
to who's going to be the most open on a play. So every
Right.
coach, every team has these plays that are centered around their specific guys for different situations that they're supposed to see or expecting to see in a game.
Yeah.
So could they be expecting or planning on throwing to St. Brown more? Probably. But is JMO getting more open? Is JMO just that good and getting those looks and getting himself open? Yes. I think it's
Yes.
just JMO's getting open and in the right spots at the right time. And you have to be able to exploit that when you see it. And every
And
game
I
is
agree.
different, though, too. Every
Right.
situation is going to be different.
Right.
So, but yeah, I
I
think
agree.
JMO's just open when he needs to be.
I agree. And I'm the same way. And I don't know. I was just hearing a whole bunch of stuff on Twitter talking about, oh, is J-Mo wide receiver one now? Because he
No.
gets more. No, he's open at the right time, and Jared Goff is making his reads, and he's just open.
Right.
And honestly, every time, I don't care. If I was Jared Goff's position, which I'm not, obviously, because I'm not as elite as a quarterback in the NFL, but honestly, if I was a quarterback in the NFL, and anytime I see J-Mo one-on-one deep ball, I'm throwing it.
Because he's
Every
going to
time.
cook.
He's too fast, and I don't think anyone's faster than him in the NFL other than Tyreek Hill, in my opinion.
Yeah.
People call me crazy for that statement, but I honestly believe, and I don't think there's no other receiver that's faster than him other than
I was going
Tyreek
to
Hill.
say, are
Even
you talking just receiver or receiver running back,
rece-
like all skill positions?
receiver, no, just pure receiver,
Okay.
because
I can see
because
that.
even in Madden, right, Tyreek Hill's speed is a 99, and guess who's right under him
JMO.
at 98. So either way, people see it, people know that he's super quick, super fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally just think that he's the obviously fast person on the team, but I think that he's just a problem when he's in space. When
Mm-hmm.
he's deep, downfield, deep ball threat, it's a problem. It's scary. So that's all I feel about that situation. But
No,
yeah.
I agree. I completely agree. But I mean, we went into it. We got some good takes. I think let's get this out of the way quick, and then we got one more thing to go.
Good.
Score and win prediction. I think
Oh yeah,
Detroit
this is a good one.
wins.
Good.
They got
Yes.
that chip on the shoulder. They're gonna come out
The
hungry
dub.
and nasty.
The
I
dub.
don't, like I said before, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a whooping as we thought before, which is okay. I think
Yeah.
though still we're gonna come out hungry and wanting to, seek revenge, and unfortunately Arizona is gonna be in the way and be on the receiving end. I think Detroit wins by at least 2 scores. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think
Yeah.
again they win by 2 scores. 33 to 20.
Mm.
Something
Okay.
around that range. 33 to 20.
Okay.
Lions win by 2 scores. And we're
Okay.
golden. I can see this too, in a way, being another defensive battle.
Okay.
But
That's
now
true.
that I'm thinking about it, I could see it either way, defensive battle. If Detroit plays the way that they're supposed to on offense and Arizona plays the same way they just did against LA, it could be very much back and forth, and I can see this being a high scoring game too, though. If
Okay.
both teams play to their potential, I can see it being
Right.
high scoring on both sides. But Lions win 33. Right now, my prediction 33-20. Lions win by 2 scores.
I like that. And I will make my prediction very short and sweet because that's how this game's going to be. I think the Lions are hungry after this loss. I feel like only scoring 16 points in the last game is going to piss off the offense, piss them off, get them hyped and going for the next week, knowing that they have way more potential, knowing that we're way better than just scoring 16 points or relying on field goals. I have the Lions winning 35 to either 17. No. 35 to either 17 or 14. So either
Ooh.
35 to 17, 35 to 14. I feel like Golf's going to figure it out this upcoming week. I feel like Arizona defense is